I was feeling extremely unwell and I had an MRI scan and was waiting for the results and had yet no hospital appointment. I was so ill, my daughter, I couldn't stand for any length of time, so my daughter brought me down to the RVH at about 3 o'clock, and it was roughly about 4 hours before I was seen in the triage room. When I went into the triage room, after having given all the information to the receptionist, you have to then give it all to the triage nurse. As I'm saying, it was about 4 hours later before I was seen by them, and then I had to go back outside. Now this was in March, and it was absolutely freezing. What I found was that although they'd closed all the other accident and emergencies down, and they were expecting all the people to go to the Royal, they didn't facilitate anybody else. They didn't give any extra room to the extra people that were supposed to come there. So we were sitting on hard chairs, absolutely freezing, and I was brought in then to the cubicle. By this stage, it was running about 9 hours I had been there. I was examined. I was told to go into a cubicle, and when I went to go into the cubicle, there was no beds in the cubicle, no chairs, no furniture at all. All the beds were in the middle of the A&E room being used, and all the chairs were taken up by the patients' families waiting with their relatives. The doctor had to go out and ask one of the patients' relatives if is there any chance that they could give up a chair so as I could sit in a cubicle and be examined. I was really, really, really sick, and all I wanted to do was lie down. I actually waited 9.5 hours in the accident and emergency department. By this stage, they had sent for a neurosurgeon to give me the results of my MRI scan. It was 1:30 in the morning, and I was told by the doctor in the RVH that I had MS, that I may wake up blind, I may wake up not be able to walk, but you'll be getting an appointment out in the post. And that was it, and I was sent home. I actually laughed. I thought if I was a wee bit mentally unstable, what harm I could do myself. Nobody asked me how I would cope with this information, or what was I all right, or did I have somebody with me? Just go home and wait on an appointment. While waiting on an appointment, I took really, really sick again and was brought down to A&E. Now this time it wasn't so bad. I think I had about a 7.5 hour, 8 hour wait. But again, when I went down, it was absolutely freezing, and this time they decided they were going to admit me because I had difficulty swallowing. Even my saliva, I could hardly swallow. To give me a bed, they hadn't got any beds for me, so I sat in a chair. They then brought me round and put me in a bed at the ambulance station. The ambulance station, the doors are opening and closing all the time, so I was absolutely freezing. And by the time I got to a bed, which would have been about 4 o'clock in the morning, I was hypothermic. And it took them all night. They put me in one of these, it was like a bag full with air, and I had to keep it on me all night to get my temperature up. And that was my horrible experience with A&E. After that, I have since been told to go down to A&E, and I won't go. That's just it. I will not go. Hopefully this information will help others so that they don't have to go through what I went through.
Anne, thank you. Can I ask you, on both occasions, take them each in turn, what would have made a difference to you in terms of how you had been looked after? What were the things that would have, looking back, that you would tell the RVH now, this is what you should have done on both the first and the second occasion?
First of all, if you go anywhere and there's no facilities, what do? you send for more people to help you? I mean, I'm only retail. I've worked retail all my life, but when you expect a busy period, like it would be in the winter, you should know what your busy times are, and you should do something about it, or call in extra staff. It's it seems like they make the place as uncomfortable as they can do, so that you won't stay. And that's just what it felt like. I mean, those hard chairs in the and I mean, it really, really, really was freezing cold. It's so uncomfortable and unpleasant to sit in there and wait. More information is also, they used to be able to put signs up to say there's a 4-hour, 5-hour. They don't do that anymore. And also I found it extremely, not upsetting, but there's no lock on the triage room. So I know once, it never happened to me, but I have seen people actually walk into the triage room when people were getting examined. But there's not enough information to say, if you've only got minor injuries, why don't you go here, why don't you go there? There's just nothing. There's absolutely, it must be the most unpleasantest place that you could think of.
And can I ask you too, you said that when you had a scan on the first occasion,
Yeah.
so was the wait, did you get your scan fairly quickly, and then the very long wait was to get the result of the scan?
No,
or did you
no.
have to wait for a long period for the scan in the first place?
No, I didn't get a scan at all. I was only waiting for the results of a scan. I'd already had the scan about 2 weeks previous.
All right, so you were coming down with having felt very ill,
Yes.
and they realised that there was a recent scan that they had done, so they needed
I
to
told
get...
them that
Yeah.
there was a scan.
And in terms of how you were treated, in terms of how they told you the news that you had MS, what would have made a difference in terms of how they could have done that?
Well, it's traumatic enough. It's a life-changing condition to be told you have.
Sure.
To be told at 1:30 in the morning, you may wake up blind, you may wake up not be able to walk, just go home and wait in your appointment. I think there should be more, I don't know, it's not social workers, but somebody there that when somebody's given information like that to say, are you all right? Can you manage, or can we do anything for you? But they were so busy down there, realistically, they couldn't wait to get rid of me.
Okay, and the issue about how cold it was that simply that there was no heating on, or the heating was inadequate, or...
I don't think there was any heating on, but if you've ever been to the Royal, the doors at the front, they just open and close all the time, because that's where the people are coming in and out. And also, this might sound terrible, but I'm really, really, really anti-smoking. And if you're that sick, you shouldn't be out and out for cigarettes. So to me, the whole thing about smoking, they should take the smoking facilities completely away from the front of the hospital, so that the doors won't be open and closed as much.
Okay, thank you. Marion, do you want to ask anything?
I just want to ask a couple of questions, Anne. You had the MRI scan done from your GP's referral,
No.
I take it, no?
I was actually misdiagnosed I was only diagnosed 2 years ago, and according to my scans, I've had MS for about 20 years. It was actually the opticians, because I'd already been to A&E before that, and they again misdiagnosed, and it was my optician, because I couldn't stick the pains in my eyes anymore, and it was the optician that referred me down.
But the Royal sent for a neurosurgeon to give you
Yes,
the
he
information.
did.
But the neurosurgeon, you felt, could have given you the information in a different way or a better way?
The neurosurgeon actually said to me, it's 1:30 in the morning, I'm not going to tell you anything other than you have MS. It was actually the accident and emergency doctor that told me, you may wake up blind, you may wake up not be able to walk. Cheerio.
But it wasn't the neurosurgeon?
It wasn't the neurosurgeon, no.
Okay. Thank you very much for clarifying that.
Okay, Paul, is there anything you'd like to ask?
And I've listened carefully, and it's been really helpful. And I just wanted to thank you very much indeed for taking the time and trouble to assist us in our thinking and our learning. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I can but echo that and say thank you, and thank you for giving your evidence both in writing and as well as coming along today. So we very, very much appreciate it. It's really important to us that we hear from people who've used the service and had a variety of different experiences. So it's absolutely vital to us that those people who are at the sharp end of the services are actually part of this inquiry. So thank you.